thank you so much for inviting me to join you at Vibe Martech Fest 2021. I have many great friends in the region, and I'm just sorry I can't be in the sunshine with you, but I'm feeling the warmth coming through my camera today. So what I'm going to do in my speech today, I'm going to set out for you some secrets from the language of leadership, because did you know there is a secret language of leadership, a secret language that has determined who's made it to the top in politics and business since the dawn of time. Now, back in ancient Rome, ancient Greece, rhetoric, the art of persuasion, was something that was taught in schools. Now, because of massive advances in neuroscience over the last few years, we now know far more about what really goes on in the brains when people are listening to communication. We can see for sure when communication works, when it does not work. So what I'm going to do for you in my speech today, I'm going to set out 6 steps that you can use to speak like a leader, 6 steps that speak systematically to the instinctive, the emotional, and the logical brain. And at the end of my speech, I will demonstrate these techniques for you by improvising a speech on a topic of your choosing. So you can get me to improvise a speech on something you want now. The most ludicrous argument in the world, I am ready for you. Right, okay, let's go. Wait, stop, look, listen. Okay, you're following? You're getting it? How do you feel? A little bit distressed, anxious, on edge? That's because I am speaking in breathless sentences. Technique number 1, 3 breathless sentences. When we sound breathless like that, we are creating the illusion that we're hyperventilating. This is what we do when we're excited about something. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. So this is the authentic sound of fear. Back in ancient Rome, they called this a syndeton. So it's an ancient technique, but it's one that's still used by leaders around the world. So Donald Trump used it. We don't win, we're losing. Look at Mexico, China, Japan. They're laughing at us, laughing. Tony Blair used to use it as well. Education, education, education. And so too do many CEOs. Profits down, markets in turmoil, competitors on the move. So that's where we start. 3 breathless sentences. Why 3? 3's the magic number in rhetoric. Everything in ancient rhetoric always comes in 3s. We don't know why it works, but it just does. And there was a study done by the University of California in 2014 that showed we're more likely to believe arguments that come in 3s than arguments that come in 4s. So that's something we're going to be using a bit of. So that's technique number 1. Technique number 2, 3 repetitive sentences. Now, when we're emotional about something, we become fixated on it. It's all we can think about. And that then manifests in our speech. So this is what Churchill was doing with his, we will fight them on the beaches, we will fight them on the landing grounds, we will fight them on the fields and in the streets. Now, obviously, Winston Churchill could have said that a lot easier. He could have just said, we're going to fight them on the beaches, landing grounds, fields and streets. And that would have been good plain English. But of course, he used repetition in order to show, I am absolutely committed to this. And that's what repetition does. It makes us sound strong. It makes us sound secure. It makes us sound stable, just like that. So this is what you find market traders frequently do as well. I'm not asking £15. I'm not asking £10. I'm not even asking £5, you know. So this builds up energy, emotional energy in the crowd. That's technique number 2. Now, technique number 3, 3 contrasts or opposites or balancing statements. Now, many of the greatest Rhetorical lines in history have been rhetorical contrasts, whether you're thinking about to be or not to be, or JFK's ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country, or Bill Clinton's there's nothing wrong with America that can be cured by what's right with America. When we use sentences like this, it sounds as if we're weighing something up. On the one hand this, on the one hand that. So this appeals to our desire for logic, rationality, and balance in our arguments. So that's where we go at number 3. Then let's go on to device number 4. Device number 4 is metaphor. Now, metaphor speaks straight to our instinctive brains. It's a very, very powerful device. For me, it's the nuclear weapon of communication. Nuclear weapon of communication. You see there, I'm actually using a metaphor to talk about a metaphor. And when we use metaphor, we're saying something is something which it is not. So the formula for a metaphor is X equals Y. A metaphor is the nuclear weapon of communication. Now, if you're engaged in communication which is quite combative, where you feel under attack, you need to shoot someone's arguments down, maybe you're preparing some bullet points, having a nuclear weapon in your arsenal to let go may well be a good thing to do. That may well be attractive for you. So that metaphor of a nuclear weapon for communication might work. If, however, the kind of communication that you're involved with is more slow growth, more about cultivating opinion, maybe I should try another metaphor. Maybe I should say metaphors plant ideas in your minds, ideas which can take root, become embedded. This is the thing. We think about metaphors as being poetic devices, which they are, but they're also critically persuasive. Research has shown changing nothing more than the metaphor in a piece of text can lead people to profoundly different reactions on questions ranging from whether they'll invest in companies, whether they'll support policies, and even if they'll back foreign wars. So metaphor really is, no doubt, the nuclear weapon of communication. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5, we want to get the emotions going again. So let's have 3 exaggerative statements. 3 statements where we go completely over the top. Again, when we're emotional about things, because our perspective distorts, we'll naturally exaggerate. So exaggeration, whilst it's got a bad rap, because of people like Donald Trump, it's actually no worse than just, something we all do. It's a figure of speech. We all do it all the time. I'm giving my heart and soul here. And I'm so delighted to be speaking to Vibe Martech Fest 2021. I swear there's nowhere else in the world that I would rather be. That's not exaggeration. That is obviously completely sincere. But you see what I mean? We use exaggeration in order to convey emotion. So that's number 5. Now, number 6, let's end with a rhyme. Because a rhyme, ladies and gentlemen, is sublime, and a rhyme works all the time. And if it rhymes, it chimes. You see, this is what linguists talk about as the processing fluency of language. A sentence that rhymes is very, very easy for us to swallow. It's not like a long sentence, long words, lots of jargon. And it's also a signifier of truth, because from the time we're toddlers, we often learn things either from our parents or at school in the form of rhyme. So we hear a rhyme, we assume it must be true. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. I before E, except after C. Any of you who have watched The People versus O.J. Simpson will recall that the line that his lawyer, Johnny Cochran, used to get him off in that trial was, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. They are the 6 devices. And now I am ready and willing and eager, in fact, to take on a challenge to improvise a speech on the spot on a topic of your choosing. So Sanjay, I don't know whether we've got any suggestions coming through there.
We do, in fact. I mean, the first suggestion is artificial intelligence will sack marketers.
Oh, okay. Right, and what do you want me to be arguing on that? Do you want me to argue that that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I would say let's make this fun. Let's say it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Okay, fantastic. All right. Okay, right. Okay. The pen, the printing press, the television. Whenever new technologies have emerged on the scenes, there have been people crying that will lead to the end of civilization. Whenever new technologies have emerged, people have been concerned about the effect it's going to have on society. Whenever new technologies have emerged, people have been concerned about the effects on jobs. Such concerns are not to be welcomed. They're to be tackled head on, because progress is a force for good, not bad, and something we should embrace rather than resist. Artificial intelligence has the most extraordinary capacity to raise our sights and elevate humanity to greater heights than we have ever achieved before. And as marketeers, as communications professionals, it would be abhorrent for us to stand in the way of the most tremendous breakthroughs that are within our grasp right now. AI offers the potential of a much better world. It offers the potential for us to sort out climate change in a flash, to deal with some of the most entrenched problems which human minds have been grappling with and failing utterly to resolve for years. Now, I hope you don't think that I'm a spy, and I'm not going to lie, but I tell you I'm a huge fan of AI. Boom.
I think that was amazing. I think it was amazing. Do we have time for one more?
Oh my God, yes, why not? Well, I tell you what, why don't I argue the reverse now? Why don't I argue the reverse, Sanjay? Why don't I say that AI is bad for marketeers? Now, let's see if I can do the mental leap and go to the other side of the argument.
Right, that would be great.
Okay. Our jobs, our homes, our livelihood. Nothing is more important than people. Nothing is more important than looking after one another. Nothing is more important than our communities. So instead of putting technology first, we should put people first. Thinking more about how we can look after people rather than how we can take away their security. Rejecting progress for the sake of progress, and instead thinking about what really matters. Our jobs offer us a way forward in the world, a way for us to meet friends, a way for us to socialize, a way for us to become better people. And these are the things that really, really matter. It is jobs that define who we are. There is jobs that define our relationship with the world. These are the things that really, really matter. And so if you think the best thing is artificial intelligence, then I think you must be a bit of a dunce. Not the best rhyme, but you got the idea.